what needs to happen is that we need to start articulating the thing behind the thing. A lot of times, you hear dudes talk about and we give women an outlet when we talk about the Russell Wilson and the Ciara situation. Like, we give women an out when we call him a simp. Him being a simp is not really the issue. Like, whether he's a simp or not, I mean, like, that's his personal business. I can't get inside of his head and tell you why he's doing the thing that he's doing with Ciara, but I can tell you this. You know what I'm saying? That Russell Wilson is a very successful football player. He's one of a few black quarterbacks who has a championship. He could have won 2 if he passed, handed off the ball to Marshawn Lynch at basically the goal line, but he didn't, and it's all good. You know what I mean? But he would have been a 2-time, Super Bowl champion. He's probably, because of the latter part of his career, he's probably a second ballot Hall of Famer. He does have a Super Bowl championship. You know what I'm saying? He was an MVP candidate. He had some really, really good years. He played for a really good team. You know what I mean? And was the highest paid player at one point in time when he got the contract before this last contract. So for all practical purposes, successful. A church-going guy, doesn't really have any, baggage with regards to relationships and things of that nature. So essentially, needs around 5'11". You know what I mean? So taller, on the taller side, you know what I'm saying? Apex predator, you know what I'm saying, with regards to his physicality. I mean, leader of men. I mean, you can't say that he's not a leader. I mean, you're a quarterback. So let's just say he's a leader, protector, provider. He's everything at the probably, one of the highest levels that you can be at. And he's probably our best and brightest. And our best and brightest gets the third baby mama of some D-boy. I guarantee that if you ask any black woman that has a son, she would never raise her son to be a successful man only to give him to the third baby mama of some D-boy. It would never make sense. And the way that we articulate it is that we get too emotional. We need to start trailing it and scaling it back. It's not about dissing the brother, because the brother is what the brother is. But if women are advocating for it, look at who's advocating for it. The women who are advocating for it are in the same situation, whereas they picked a guy, had a baby by him, and he wasn't the right guy. And he started off not being the right guy. But they love what they love. They pick penis over production. They pick status over production. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They pick status over stability. They don't care. And sometimes you have to just let women make the decisions that they make and kind of get out of their way. And you also have to understand that, the way that this works, it doesn't matter what they believe, it matters what you believe. You control access to relationships. It's been a really, really, really like a last concerted a push for marriage, and women will gaslight you. Women will tell you how, I don't want to be married because I just don't think it works out. Well, the reason that it doesn't work out is because 80% of the time y'all file for divorces. That's why. It's because you're incentivized on every level to actually divorce the man. It's not because of men. And I'm not saying that men are perfect. I'm just saying we're penalized for our imperfections. Anytime a man is not faithful, or a man is not, holding up his end of the bargain, you can leave at any point. And you have men that believe if a woman leaves and something you did wrong. No, sometimes bitches just leave. And we have to be, cold and callous in allowing for them to suffer their consequences. Just let them suffer their consequences. It's not on you. It's not up to you whether or not she's wrong. She did wrong. Her consequence is her consequence. And what you need to do as a man is allow her to suffer said consequence and get out the fucking way. I mean, and it's even like it's this push to shame men for wanting to make decisions that are in their best interest. The thing whereas, you know what I'm saying, oh, well, you know what I mean, you got to make a certain amount of money to even have alimony. It's just like, yeah, but you can still take my pension. Most dudes are working a middle class life. A job that has a pension to where you can just retire. Service job, military, you know what I'm saying, cops, firefighter, whatever, construction, whatever, post office. And you mean to tell me I'm going to work for 40 years of my life and then have to live off of what I work for only to give half of that to you at 65, 66, whatever? And black men are only living to 62. So realistically, I just made all that money to give to you. Now I'm straight. But women will gaslight you and have you believing that somehow they get the brunt of the responsibility, when you can tell that they don't get the brunt of the responsibility because they don't get the brunt of the bulk of the consequence when it doesn't work out. The bulk of the consequence when it doesn't work out is on the man. It's not good for us. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that relationships aren't good for us. It's just relationships without where you legally take the leverage away from the man and give it all to the woman. That's not good. And they're taking the leverage from the woman and giving it all to the man under the guise of feminism, under the guise of equality, under the guise of some bullshit that I don't know. But however it goes, the law is written the way that the law is written. And you gotta adhere to it, not on some if you want to, not on some if you choose to, but on some you better or else. And we're putting ourselves at a disadvantage trying to somehow, look at these women and see, sugar and spice and everything nice. It's just not what they are. And we have the most masculine women. We have even with the masculinity thing, like women will gaslight you and how you believe that they're that way because these men out here aren't, what they need to be. And it's just like, yeah, that's not true. You're that way because it doesn't pose against a consequence. No consequence for it. My masculinity has a consequence to it. I have to be respectful to all men, because if I'm not respectful to all men, I could die. I'm not a small guy, but I'm not Shaq. So for the most part, I have to respect people under the guise of understanding that if I disrespect somebody, then it can go down. Somebody can die out here. You on the other hand, when you disrespect a man, you don't see that as an option. If women get told that they're tougher than some of these guys because they'll speak up first, they'll speak up first because there's no consequence for them speaking up. They're not afraid of a consequence that doesn't exist. And your mere existence is a threat. Being a man is a threat. I'm a 6 foot tall, dark skinned guy. Like, I was talking to this one girl about colorism. And her version of colorism, of which all black women's version of colorism, is the man that they want don't pick up. Because somehow he's attracted to light skinned women, because somehow it's because of slavery and whatnot. Okay, I'll listen to that. Well, my version of colorism is when I get pulled over by cops who are 5'7" and white. And I'm towering over them, not because I'm some tall dude, but because I'm just 6 feet tall. I'm a 6 feet tall black guy. And let's say they're a 6 feet tall white guy. I still pose a threat. A 6 foot tall black guy that look like he can run 5 miles is certainly a threat. You know what I'm saying? It looked like I'm about to run. It looked like I'm about to do something. It's called buck breaking. And not that I'm into all of that or whatever, but the problem is that when they take the biggest, blackest niggas and they try to make an example of them. You know what I mean? And sometimes the biggest, blackest nigga ain't necessarily the biggest, the biggest necessarily. It could just be the blackest. It could be your Kanye's and your, your Kyrie Irving. It's funny how they'll take them and publicly fuck them over. And you think that your version of colorism, that is just a man not picking you, is somehow more important than that because of what you're attracted to. And the way that people explain colorism is as if anything you pick is because of colorism. You can't ultimately just be attracted to something because that's what you're attracted to. But there's no such thing as heightism, though. And again, I benefit. I'm a taller guy. I'm taller than average. There's certain things I just benefit from. Like, I got curly hair. You know what I'm saying? That he got good hair shit always worked in my favor. It just is what it is. But even though I benefit from some of these things, I still know it's bullshit. I'm not stupid just because I'm benefiting from it. You know what I mean? If I'm a millionaire, that doesn't mean that poverty doesn't exist. I understand what exists even though I may benefit from the climate. And I can tell you more that is bullshit because I benefit from the climate. I benefit from it. I get it. What people need to understand is that we need to stop placating to them, because ultimately it doesn't benefit them. You know what I mean? What it ultimately does is that it puts us at it puts them at a disadvantage because now we're out of the leverage space. They want to raise toothless, clawless, roarless lions. And that's what they're raising your boys to be. Without a roar, without claws, without teeth. Because they're afraid that they'll make their own decisions. You know, it's no secret that the same kids they take away from you be the same boys that they'll call you to come and get when they acting up. It's like, don't call me when this nigga is acting up. Don't just call me when this nigga is acting up. I was in court with you fighting for these boys, and then all of a sudden now you want me to get him when he's 13 and he's bigger than you. When you can't whoop him. Now you want me to do something to him. You know? And every man should resent that. Because you don't want to spend a bunch of time disciplining your son in a way of physicality. You want to spend time having him be disciplined. Wake up at a certain time. Do your chores. Do your homework. You know? Have a physical regimen. We train now. You know what I'm saying? Let's take 45 minutes, an hour, and let's train now. Let's run. Let's do some push-ups. Let's do some sit-ups. Let's do some pull-ups. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some basketball drills in. Let's do the thing that you said you want to do. You wanted to be physically in shape. Let's do that. You want to spend time making them disciplined, not disciplining them. They don't understand it. They don't understand that they can't duplicate that need for physicality. You know? They can't duplicate that need for physicality. You can't duplicate that line that you toe when you're physical with your sons. You know, when I'm physical with my sons, they feel it. But they understand that I'm towing the line. Because they need to know what being physical means. They need to know that, okay, cool, this means that you're playing, and when you cross this line, that means you're not. But they try to simulate that with what I don't know. Because I've never seen a woman raise a man. And dudes be having to figure it out. And we feel like we owe women nothing. We don't owe them nothing. We owe ourselves first. And then from there, if a woman wants to attach themselves to you, that's fine. And they gaslight you and gaslight you and gaslight you to the point where you think everything they do is the right thing. It's not. You know? The only way, because like women aren't physical beings. The physicality is off the table for them for the most part. So how do they battle? How do they battle? Deception. That's it. Deception. It's the I would never do you like that. Anytime a woman is like, I find it to be almost 100%. Anytime a woman is pushing you to believe one thing about her, just in your head believe the opposite, or at least put a pin in what she said. If a woman is pushing her chastity in high school, like I wasn't doing this and I wasn't doing that. Her chastity and her purity in college, or she just only been in 2 relationships or anything like that. Put a pin in that and see and revisit it. Because you ain't seen her around niggas yet. You ain't seen her around niggas. So you need to understand what she really is by saying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just listen to what she doing and look at what she doing. I'm going to listen to what she's saying, but I'm going to look at what she doing. Anytime a woman is telling you she's like this, it's likely the opposite. That's why I don't describe myself. You know what I mean? I reluctantly say I'm 6 feet. I reluctantly say anything about myself because I don't really feel that I feel a way about myself. Obviously, I love myself. You know? But I understand what the game is. This game is dirty. It's filthy. You know? It's filthy. And you have men out here who would just believe the woman just because she's the woman and she says something. Nah, dog. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. You're hurting yourself. You know? And more of the problem is that we put ourselves at such a disadvantage that it ain't even masculinity no more. You know, what was supposed to happen? You know, what were you supposed to do? You know, I backed off from recording. I'm really, really, you know, kind of into, you know, really just self-improving so I can really have another perspective here. You know, I've really been on some, like, you know what I mean? I was talking to myself and talking to my kids, of course, too. You know, and it's just, you know, it's simple, man. Pick up some extra skills. Pick up some extra trade, extra skills. Lift weights. Grow a fucking beard. You know, like, be a man. And all the other shit kind of takes care of itself. You know, you ain't never lost because you was too disciplined. You know, you ain't never lost because you improved yourself too much. You ain't never lost because of that. You know what I'm saying? Where you do lose is that when you put enough of that shit in somebody's hands. You know, and especially a woman-led society where you put it in a woman's hand and allow her to determine whether it's valuable or not. The wall of silence is real. That's what we need to engage in. The wall of silence. If you're going to deal with these women, deal with them the way that you want to deal with them. If you know she a hoe and you want to hit, look, all I would advise you to do is be careful, strap up, you know what I'm saying? Don't get too involved, you know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, if a woman is a hoe, you know what I mean, she's going to have some very, very endearing qualities because hoes are endearing. That's how they get you. They're hoes. They're not, you know what I'm saying? You know, like some hoes don't have, you know, the skill set. They just have pussy, but enough hoes have a skill set that allows you to believe, you know, but deception is their friend, you know. It's like, you know, you think darkness is your friend. You know, like, you know, you think lying and saying you was over homie's house, you know what I'm saying, when you was really over old girl's house, you think that that's a lie. These bitches live lies. And you as a man, you have to decipher what is and what ain't. And like I say, it be in your best interest to believe that everything she's saying is just the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Everything she's saying is just the opposite. Because you know what you dealt with. You know? It's almost like, it's almost like the Matrix. Almost like the Matrix, the way that sometimes I'm able to not necessarily predict, but I'm able to kind of see what it is that's going on. And it's not because I'm bright, you know what I mean? Because I don't really think I'm even smart like that. I think I fall for, you know, to be honest, I think I fall for shit all the time. You know, it's just that I'm so, like, when I fall for it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm just nonchalant and I can kind of back out of it because I'm not emotionally invested. You know, so I guess I don't necessarily fall for it, but I just be feeling like I do. I be feeling like I be in the shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, but as far as, you know, just, you know, deciphering or discerning, you know, just what's going on, you just gotta listen and look at them. Just look at what they're doing. You know, the he's my friend shit. Like, nigga, you fall for that shit, nigga. I think at this point we all know what that is. I've been a bitch's friend before. You know? I mean, I ain't saying all the dudes she called friends aren't her friends, but you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You know, there's nothing out here for you but bad when you believe everything. And I'm not saying don't believe this and don't believe that, or, you know, or that niggas is even believing anything or everything. I'm just saying, like, you have to discern. You have to know. Because you not knowing it could be the end. You know? And making one bad decision or having some broad be attached to your reputation, it's bad, son. It's bad. It's bad. You put yourself at a disadvantage every time. You know, we just got to be better. You know what I mean? Man, lift weights, grow a beard, get a trade. You know, that's man shit. You know, and if you can't grow a beard, get some dog ass facial hair. You know, you know, line your shit up. You know, your man shit should be man shit. You know, your sons need it. The dudes that are around you need it. Everybody need it. You know, your body needs to be different. You know, we're not living long. So obviously us being in shape and eating right would be very advantageous for us. But man shit, you know, man shit at the end of the day. Because they don't promote that. They don't want you to be a man. You know, they don't want you to be a man. What they want you to be is a man for them. Their version of a man. They don't want you to be a man. They want you to be some form of that. That's why they push that Russell Wilson shit. You know? And even then, like I say, I don't argue with women in that way. Like, for me, it's just, if they don't believe it, fine, I believe it. If they don't believe what I'm saying, that's fine, I believe it. You know? They believe that we complain. Like, the thing about all of the things that are being said, it always can be traced. If you notice, everything that men say can always be traced back to a law, some cultural understanding, or some social contract shit. It's always culture. It's always law. It always is, you know what I'm saying, some social just understanding, some social understanding or contract that we have, you know. But anytime that women complain and when they talk, it's always the last nigga they fucked. You know what I mean? It's always the last nigga they fucked. You know, you notice they can never have a conversation past who hurt you. You know, you notice they can never have a conversation past, oh, them just the bitches you pick. You know what I'm saying? You know, they can never have a conversation past insults. And you just got to be weird. You just got to be conscious of that. You got to be conscious of them making those decisions and saying those things. Because really, the women are not not that the women aren't the problem. It really is us, but it's us in the sense that we keep believing the bullshit. You know, it is us in that sense. We keep believing the bullshit. You know, you can't change it, man. You know, only way a woman changes is the environment changes. The environment dictates that she has to be in shape, and the environment dictates that she has to be feminine. Like, femininity is not born of leisure. You know what I'm saying? A woman saying resting in her femininity, that you might well just run away from that shit. It's like, you know, being on a date with a chick that said, "I've had my fun." It's just like, all right, I've had my fun. All right, just leave. Snow, just ask for the check. I've had my fun. I mean, that's a lot of dick in her past. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to be walking around with her holding hands, and niggas is going to be boxing. Niggas is going to be straight up boxing, listening to you. Looking at all the shit that they done did to her. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a good woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate that women believe something different. But for the women who believe something different, good luck. God bless. You know? God bless. You know, niggas don't owe you to believe that your body count doesn't matter. There's a practical reason why your body count matters. A woman who has the propensity to be promiscuous always puts me in a position to be a victim of paternity fraud. Paternity fraud, the victimless crime. You know what I'm saying? That's at least what the law believes, of which they shouldn't even call it paternity fraud. They should just call it bitch lied. For my money, because you're not going to punish the bitch. You know what I'm saying? You know, and knowing niggas that been through that shit, and knowing the lack of a penalty on the bitch's part when the bitch lied, there's nothing that nigga did. Really, there's nothing that a nigga can do. You have a show in paternity court that comes on 5 days a week. And every time it's some bitch lying. I never even had sex with him. I don't even know him. It's gotta be you. But yet and still, your body count doesn't matter. Okay, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Okay, bitch. Like, I'll listen, but tell me, but tune in at, you know, what is it? I don't know what time it is, but the motherfucker's on there. You know? And I gotta sit up here and listen to you talk about how it doesn't matter, when ultimately it should matter, because I lose on the exchange. I lose on the exchange. You know? If you want shit to change, if you want shit to be better, then you have to give up some of this leverage that they've artificially given you. Because they've given you the artificial leverage and you don't even know what to do with it. You know what I mean? You don't even know what to do with it. You're using it against the men who you say you want to be men. And ultimately, man, like the idea has always been said, if you don't like us, that's fine. If you can't stand men, that's fine. What about the boys? Because whatever I did, I did. If I ain't shit, you don't like me, you know what I'm saying? You know, because I did whatever I did. Okay, cool, fine. What about the boys, though? Because the problem a lot of times is that men are going to be men. What about the boys? They didn't do shit to you. You know? And law after law is being passed in order to allow women to make the most ridiculous, egregious decisions. And nobody's saying anything. Everybody's saying, well, it's okay. A woman should be able to. You know? And as men, we just have to, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mr. Palmer. We got to change the laws of our mind. You know? Lift weights, get a trade, grow a beard, nigga. You know? Be a fucking man. Grow some nuts. You know? Again, I ain't saying don't get no pussy out here. I'm saying be safe. But some of these hoes you gotta leave alone. If you know how to navigate it, you know how to navigate it. But if you don't, you need to get in and out, you know what I'm saying, and out as quick as possible. You know, if you can engage hoes and get in and get out and deal with them respectfully and accordingly, that's fine. You know, I'm not saying don't get no pussy. But if you can't, nigga, you need to get in and get out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you a hoe? I'm out. Immediately. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't meeting no 40-year-old sanctified chicks. You ain't meeting no 35-year-old sanctified chicks. You ain't meeting no 30-year-old unless you was in a marriage. But single at 30, nigga. You know what they doing. You know what I mean? And like I say, like, you'll get women that call themselves traditional. I'm a traditional woman. No, you're not. Your time to be traditional was at 23. You don't get to be 30 and then all of a sudden you traditional. What that means is that you ran the property value down and now you want to sell a house like it was just made. No, that's not how value works. And I don't even have to use housing. I can just use value. You know, value doesn't work that way. You don't run value into the ground and then the same value exists when you're done running it into the ground. So once you get ran through, you done. Once too many niggas that know each other and fucked you, you done. And that's a decision. You know? That's a decision. And it doesn't matter if you think it's different or it shouldn't be that way. It matters that men think it. So until you can come to the conclusion that that's what men think, then I suggest you do whatever you want to do. But take the consequences well. Because you can't say that niggas lied to you. Nobody lied to you. Some of the stuff that men say now is conservative. Yes, it may be restricting. You may feel like they're trying to control your body, but it's the same shit that your father would tell you. That's the thing. It's the same thing that your daddy would tell you. Your daddy would never tell you to go have a hot girl summer. That would be irresponsible on his part. You know what I'm saying? But your mama told you that it's okay, right? Exactly. I wonder why. Because your mama's likely single. So your mama's living vicariously through you. Not even vicariously. It's more insidious than that. She wants to ruin you so that you can be with her in her old age. Because she know you gonna outlive her. So if she got you, she at least got somebody to be with her up until she dies. Tell me I'm lying. But I'm not. And the problem a lot of times is that you got women that will consistently complete and repeat rather the cycle of ruining the next generation of women's lives. Party buses, drinking all the goddamn time. You know, no sleep, showing up late to work, late to everything that they did. No working out, you know what I mean? Serial dating, you know, baby daddies, things of that nature. And even for the women with no baby daddies, it doesn't matter that you don't have baby daddies, you know? Even for the women that are in shape or the women that are doing seemingly what they think is right, it doesn't matter. You can only go so long doing it that way. You can only go so long doing it that way. And you deal with these women accordingly. You get in and you get out. Again, pick up a trade, hit the gym, and grow a fucking beard, nigga. You know? Because they not gonna tell you that. They're not gonna tell you that. They want you to be a toothless, clawless, roarless lion. Because that benefits them. That's my time, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep subscribing, man. I'm going to try to do more. But again, I'm out here, you know, I'm working hard, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to head into this gym now. You know, I know you can hear all the bullshit in the background. I'm in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? But like, share, subscribe, show love. You know, yeah, that's Mike Perkins, and I'm out.